Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Pitch. I'm Ben Levin, your Vice-Chairman here at Crawley Town Football Club, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, Simon Trench. Simon, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm doing well,
Excellent.
I'm largely recovered from the festive period and excited to get back to football.
Yeah, back to a bit of normality now.
Yeah. Now, did you have much time away, or was the busy season hectic for you?
We were quite lucky this year with only one home game, but my other job's quite a busy, hectic time leading up to Christmas for a bit of a shutdown and just dealing with emergency jobs.
Understood. Well, we've got a big run of games around, so I'm sure many people will see you around the stadium soon.
They will.
Will you share with everybody what you do for the football club?
So I am the Deputy Chief Steward here at Crawley Town, working under the Safety Officer and the Chief Steward.
So what does that mean? What do you do?
So I will keep an eye on the fans. I can go out searching on the way in to help check bags, also search and physically check people. I set up the car park of a match day, get everything ready there, unlock all the ground whilst David's been in and does all the other car park off site, getting that all ready. Then we do a quick walk round of the stadium to make sure it's all safe. Check for any hidden ice, as the case has been just recently. Just set up, assist Louise, briefing the stewards in the car park, just getting everything prepared for when the fans start to arrive.
So you were part of the team that makes this whole match day operation happen.
I'd like to think so, yes.
So if you could go through a little bit, you mentioned some of those roles, what the various folks do in terms of who you report to and who the safety officer is, what they look after, and what your goals are for match day.
Okay, so I work directly for David, who's the Chief Steward. So he's in charge of all of the stewarding team. And then above him, you've got the safety officer, which is in charge of basically the whole ground. So the safety officer will make sure that everything is ready on their say-so. He will have his logist upstairs, logging everything throughout the day, any maintenance issues that we find on our walk round. Just getting everything ready for the safety of the fans. So our main job is the safety of, one, the fans, and then obviously the players and the staff. So yeah, we do lots and lots of bits that people don't realise before people are even up and about some days.
Yeah.
So
I know you have early starts, but before we get into that, can you explain the stewarding group and what they do? And they're the folks in the bright neon jackets most of the time?
They are. So you've got the guys in the yellow jackets are your stewarding team. They are here for being a pair of eyes and being a pair of ears. So things that they see and hear regarding how the crowd are performing, to liaise with their supervisors, which will be in I think it's the orange, and just liaise with them. Sometimes you get mixtures of fans getting into the wrong end. Things like that need to be picked up because potentially that could be a huge issue. But they're the go-to people. So if someone isn't feeling comfortable due to their surroundings, go to a steward, highlight that, because it's potentially something that can be dealt with, that we can either move you or we can move a group of others. Even just go in and talk to people about their actions and language. You know, it's a family-based thing. You do get single parents come in, mothers bringing their kids. Sometimes they feel a little bit hostile being in and around certain people, groups of. So yeah, the stewarding team are there to help everybody. Supervisors are there to obviously be escalated if there is an issue. And then if they can't deal with it, then they can contact myself, David. Safety officer will always help and guide us. We'll walk around with our earphones in and listening to instructions of being places and can you go and do this, can you go and do that. The CCTV operator might spot something.
What type of behaviors are the stewards looking out for? It sounds like they're a great resource if someone is uncomfortable, but what do they do proactively, or what do they look for?
So they should be engaging with people on the way in. When I started here, I was on gate 13 over in the far corner. Just sort of meet and greet. You haven't got to hold full-blown conversations with people because you'd be there all day, but just say hello, smile, welcome people. If you're in a position of being a steward, we like to keep you in a certain position. David's very much got that in his mindset, to try and keep the same steward in the same gate, because you get to know the same fans. With different faces, people react differently. But if you're interacting and talking to people on their way in, it might be the case of someone is stood 4 or 5 people behind them, effing and jeffing and causing grief, and you can just say to them, can you just ask him to wind his neck in, or nicely, just tell him to pipe down a bit.
That relationship
so the relationship's already there. You go to some of these big football clubs, their stewarding team, they're all agency. So of course the same person is never seeing the same group of fans, which can make your life awkward.
And I know we have a split in our group. We have some stewards who are employed by the club as match day workers, and then we have agency workers as well.
So all of the stewards are directly employed by the club, and then we have the response team who come in via an agency. So your response team are your SIA licensed doorman, security. So they're like the top escalation process before you go to the police.
So the police would be the most serious.
Correct.
They're only involved when things have been escalated.
Police can get involved at any time, but ideally you want to see stewards trying to deal with something first. If they can't and the supervisors can't, myself and David can't, then we would ask the response team, and then 9 times out of 10 the police will be nearby. So if an ejection is going to happen, we know it's going to take place, the police would be at either gate ready to receive.
How often is an incident that involves either an ejection or some type of escalation?
We're very lucky here. We are very lucky. We went through a stint after COVID where it was really difficult because people hadn't interacted with each other for a long time. And it was almost
people skills, they went out the window.
It was almost like, but also I think like manners and behavioural skills just gone. I know we had, issues with flares coming in, which was costing the club thousands. The safety advisory group, threatening to say, or just saying that potentially you might be playing games behind closed doors if your fans can't, because that's not coming from just the safety officer, myself and David. That's coming from like high up, the people that give you that license to open. And
we get some nasty letters from the EFL.
Correct. It's hard. I did I did an interview thing for someone who was down at Brighton University, and they were doing the media thing, and they asked myself and Andy Love, who now is on the AAA response team, and we did this thing. It was called No Man's Land, and it was basically a day in the life of a steward, because you are in no man's land. You're stood there with the abuse coming at you, and the away end is completely different. You need a bit more experience to be on an away end.
So the stewards take direct abuse at them, not just listening to what's going on.
Yeah, we've had it. People, mad moments, really mad moments, because when they are then ejected, they're as nice as pie outside, and you think this person wouldn't do that, but it's just heat of the moment, and we fully understand that, but behaviour has to be, rules have to be followed.
So an ejection takes place once a match, a couple times a match? Once
No. I think here, if we're very lucky if we do one every 4 games.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, which is great because, it shows that our fans can behave and it's a nice place to come.
So the stewards are standing back to the pitch, looking at the fans, monitoring for any type of behavior or something seems uncomfortable.
First aid issues. Look at the first aid issues that we have. And 9 times out of 10, it's the steward that spots it. Somebody collapses. We've had it recently. The Birmingham game, thank God that guy from Birmingham survived.
Could you tell the story? I'm not sure how much of it has gotten out.
So there was a bit of a mad call going on for a code. We use codes for certain priority things. So the code was being called for the northeast corner. People were responding, but the calls were becoming more sort of urgent over the radio. We asked for radio silence, which then means nobody else should be saying, "Oh, we just run out of cheese straws at the tuck shop" type thing, So we need a bit of everybody in. People click into drive mode. I ran over and found gentleman was in the toilet who had collapsed, and paramedics were working on him. We had the police turn up, which is great. The Birmingham fans, because I took it upon myself at that time to shut those turnstiles over at that corner because too many people coming in all wanting to use a toilet. So I was sort of pushing people round to the main other end. All the fans were just amazing. They worked with you. And I said, there'd be queues, really sorry, but is it one of ours? Yeah, it's one of yours. Not a problem. I didn't have one person who was out of order.
So the gentleman had a heart attack?
He had actually had cardiac arrest. So they worked on him, got him back. And then I believe he was taken down to Brighton, where they met Hems as well en route because it was severe.
It's amazing. Yeah. Kudos to you and the whole team for saving his life.
Everybody pulls together, and we're hated from one moment, but we're not here to be hated. We're here to do a job and help people enjoy the experience. And if that means ejecting someone because of their behaviour or diving on the floor where it's wet, cold and, trying to save someone, then everybody pulls together. So it doesn't then matter what team you're on.
Right.
Every human is every human. We're all in this together. We're all here for the same reason.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that every club around the country, every grounds, has a staff of people who are just devoted to making sure that everyone has a safe, enjoyable experience. Yeah. So much so that they aren't even watching the match, right? They're just watching.
Correct. We, when we get new staff and I do a tour around and show them where everything is, I teach them where the gates are, the main 4 exit gates and everything, because people might not know, but every gate has got a number. We position our staff for the gates other than over on the east stand where we use the aisle of stairs. We have a steward at the bottom of each aisle of stairs. But yeah, everyone here just pulls together and they're in there. They've got no clue really of what's going on the pitch. So we try and advise them to sort of be 3/4 of a way watching the fans. But they've got to know what's going on the pitch because there could be a filthy tackle or something right by them. And then that dictates how the fans are going to react.
Right. Or a goal.
Goal celebration, sending off, anything. It always dictates how the fans are going to react. So by them knowing what's happening on the green bit, they also know what's happening on the concrete.
Yeah. So what is your sales pitch for becoming a steward? Because we're always looking for great people to come join us. What are the most rewarding parts of the job? What would you tell somebody who's thinking about it?
The real reward for me is seeing fans going away with a smile on their face. And more so the Crawley fans. that's what I want. But just it's a reward to have, like that incident with Birmingham, you come away from that and think, between us, the crew, the group, has just saved a life. That's a huge reward. Ejections of people that are just continuously misbehaving. For me, that's quite a reward when they've been taken out, and then the next game you see a complete change of atmosphere, because it can be just one person that's ruining it for everybody. So yeah, the sales pitch as such would be, come and join a great team. It's hard work. People think you just stand there and do nothing, but it's mentally challenging. We're a great football club to come and work for. Friendly, we've got good fan base, and it's just enjoyable. It's just I love it. I love it.
So how did you get involved? How long ago was that? Tell us the origin story of Simon at Crawley Town.
So I was at a funeral, and a friend of the family said they were working here, and it was like, what do you do at the weekends? Not a great deal. Bit of golf maybe, or whatever. And they were like, oh, Crawley Town are looking for stewards. You'd really enjoy it. And I had a stint where I came off security work from doing doors and things, because you sort of get to a point in your life where drunk people are enough. So I hadn't been doing anything. So I thought, yeah, I'll come and give it a go, see what happens. And next season will be my 15th season here.
Wow.
So came in, started as a steward.
On gate 13, you said?
Gate 13. Made my way to supervisor of... I then got put on the away end.
A promotion?
For me, that was a promotion.
You said that's the toughest place to work in the stadium.
It is, because it's different people. You don't know them.
Yeah.
So you're seeing different groups day in, day out, or week in, week out. We've had nights here with Sheffield United who have crammed everyone in there, and the atmosphere is amazing. Portsmouth, when we've had them up. Clubs that just fill that away end. But yeah, again, it's interaction, having a laugh and having a giggle on the way in, welcoming them to the ground. And so, yeah. So
before we get back to your story, where on our pitch in our stadium are the best places to work? Where are the most difficult? Where are the most sought after posts for a steward?
So the East Stand is sort of known as more of the family area. So that's a nice stand to work in. Obviously, when we're at sellout capacity, you get mixed match people that haven't been, and you get these big games turn up and people buy early, so the clientele changes a little bit. So yeah, East Stand's a good stand for sort of friendly atmosphere. West Stand is mainly what I would say is your long-term season ticket holders. And then you've got complete mix and match on the South Terrace. You've got the old school naughty boys that all stand in one corner that are in their late 60s, early 70s. That they're nice guys. You interact with people, have a chat, have a laugh and a giggle with a lot of people. The younger ones are behind the goal. We've got Freddie. Freddie is Freddie. Everyone knows him. He gets everybody going if he can. And then you've got the away end, which is completely different each week. So,
any crazy stories from away fans, whether they've said something interesting about Crawley, good or bad, or they behaved in certain ways?
We get a lot of compliments on the way out for our stewarding and our staff. We do get that, and that's really nice to hear.
Yeah. And
I think the club do receive every now and again the odd email, letter, whatever, however it's done, complimenting us, which is really, really nice. And that's, that is a credit to David, who's been here 100 years. This place was built around him, and he's gone with it. I think he's 26 years, 27 years in. So he's got his sort of standards of what he wants out of people, and for them to get those letters, emails, it's really nice. And to have people walk up and go, oh, you know, thanks for earlier on. Your staff are great. They did this, they did that. So that's really nice to know. With the away end, like I say, it's different people. Horror stories, the Coventry pitch invasion wasn't nice. We knew something was going to happen, but you couldn't plan what was going to happen.
Why did you know something was brewing?
Because they wanted their owners out. They were so against it. And yeah, you just knew that something was going on. It'd been going on for so long, and a few came over the top. You know, we weren't going to chase because there are only 4 corners to exit. They'll come back at some stage. There was a few arrested. They just wanted to get their point across because of the passion for their club. Yeah. And I can understand that. Can fully understand that. They weren't nasty to us. They weren't rude. As they were coming back, it's like, you know, they were giving you their arms because they knew they were going to be detained and walked off. Yeah, we've had fun. We've had some real fun up there.
So you're working the away end.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, so I did the away end, and then I got asked to become a supervisor. So I went back down to the South Terrace and was supervisor down there for a couple of seasons. Then I got moved up to the North End as supervisor for up there. And then I got asked if I would take over as Deputy Chief Steward.
And where along this journey did you become one half of a Crawley Town Football Club power couple?
So yeah, obviously I've known Lou since I've been here. So yeah, we were always sort of chatting through work, and you know, every Saturday and every sort of Tuesday night he'd say hello and la la la, and then we eventually got together 5 years ago.
And what does she do for the club?
So she is the steward liaison officer. So she does all the emails to the staff and liaises with David on how many we have, because legally we have to have a set amount of stewards to be able to open the ground to the public. Yeah, again, going back to the original thing of safety.
Right.
So you have to have a minimum number of stewards per fans. And so, yeah, she does all the liaising of that. She also looks after all the hours for their pay. So, yeah, she works full-time for the NHS. And then she does evenings at home, Crawley stuff. Then we get the weekends, Crawley stuff. So, yeah.
And Brighton Women's, right?
Correct, yeah, we do all the Brighton ladies football matches. So she, yeah, again, liaises with David, getting all the staff in.
Yeah.
And like Saturday, where we're here until 2 o'clock. We've been here since 7.
Yeah, so the Charlton match called off right before you were here.
Yeah.
You're also committed for, I think it's 10 or 12 Brighton ladies matches.
Correct.
So between 35 and 40 matches here a season.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And you have a full-time job.
Yeah, I run a business. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So my parents set up a business nearly 30 years ago for security. My stepdad is a master locksmith, and he set up his own business. And yeah, it went quite well. So he got the contract for TK Maxx. So at the moment we supply every lock on every door for TK Maxx with a patented system of keys. So yes, there is all patented to us till 2042. So nobody can just walk into a key shop and say, "Can you cut that for us?"
So go support your local TK Maxx. Keep Simon alive. Eating well.
Yeah. Now we also do the same for Lidl, but we're supply only for that. So we don't actually install for them. So yeah, do that. But bread and butter money is housing associations for intercom systems and lockouts, and yeah.
So most stewards have full-time jobs?
Yeah, a lot do, which makes it quite hard for the weekday kickoffs. 7:45 it's tough, and then unfortunately the Brighton ladies games tend to kick off for 7, so that's even harder. You know, like David works in Croydon, so for him to get here for a 5 o'clock briefing, it just can't happen. We've got limited amount of staff in. So yeah, we have to really pull together and go on a skeleton crew because we know that people are just filtering in.
So what does a match day look like for you? Let's do a typical 3 p.m. kickoff here.
Okay, so we'll be here for 7 o'clock, cone off the car park, make sure that everything there is fine and ready to go. Then I wander around and undo all the turnstiles, unlock all the toilets, check all the toilets have got toilet rolls and stuff in it. Then I will make sure that all the main exit gates are unlocked. We unlock the barriers for William Reed. Then we come back. We might squeeze in a cup of coffee if we've got time. And then we get new staff coming in for their part. So we have like early gates. We'll have 4 stewards turn up that just go and man the main gates, just to make sure that nobody walks in. We're a huge security risk here, you know, potentially.
Yeah. A lot of people gathering in one
spot.
spot.
Yeah. So, you know, we have to be careful of who comes in. You can't just have anyone wandering in. So yeah, that happens. Then David and I will talk. David will tell me that we're really short of staff and what we're doing on this one and how we're going to get through it. And then throughout the day, it's just lots of bits and pieces, really.
What's the busiest time for you?
So the busiest time is the minute we open the turnstiles, because then we're wandering around making sure that people are getting in okay. You know, we've gone for this new ticketing system. We've had a few hiccups with the scanners don't want to read the tickets. So we've, as a few of us, have now had the app put on our phone to try and alleviate that position.
Right.
So through the gates off our phones. So yeah, we're wandering around just making sure that you've got the away people knowing that they need to be going to that end of the stadium. The homes know what they're doing. It's just keeping an eye out for people. You know, you've got 10 coaches turning up that are parking up the road in one of the local schools now. Just keeping an eye out for drunk people, because they can cause you the biggest problems.
Yeah. So as we're talking about safety and drinking, what do you think about the ban of alcohol inside stadiums?
So I would be up for it, because I think some people are really on the limit when they get in, and then they can go and top themselves up with a little bit more. Then they can become a complete and utter safety issue. When you're trying to deal with drunk people, there's no reasoning. It doesn't matter. If it's black, it's white, and if it's white, it's black to them. Yeah. It doesn't matter. So you're trying nicely to talk to people, ask them to behave, whatever. You might as well be talking to a brick wall sometimes.
Right.
So for me, inside the stadium, all for it outside, you know, people to have their drinks, enjoy themselves, do whatever they need to do. But actually inside the stadium, personally, and it is my personal view, is that they shouldn't be able to top themselves up.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because we want to create an environment where everyone feels safe and welcome and are very family-oriented, kin-friendly. But we also love when we're selling pints.
Absolutely.
And the more pints we can sell, the better. And it's interesting because in American sport, there are no such bans. So you can carry a cup with as much beer as it can possibly hold and sit in the stands and watch whatever game you want.
Yeah. So obviously with beer not being in the league side of things, alcohol can't see the green bit, basically.
Right.
Hence why Reds is further around the corner and everything is away from it. You know, the away fans, they get a little bit disgruntled because they can't get a drink at half time.
Right. We're working on that one day soon.
Well, we used to have it.
Uh-huh.
So we had a little bottle bar at one stage. And it used to work all right until it went wrong one day. And then it never came back. But
Yeah.
if there was that possibility, you know, yes, it's more revenue for the club. So I'm in a catch-22.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's managed properly, where the one that's really hanging walks up and asks for another beer, they're told no. But then they'll only get it from a mate or something. So it's just how it's managed.
Yeah. Interesting.
In my own personal opinion.
I've heard that there's some discussion about allowing drinking in the stadium for women's matches, for WSL matches and below.
Okay, hadn't
It's
heard
maybe
that.
a test case. So
Oh,
we'll have
really?
to see how the female football fan base can handle their booze compared to the traditional.
It's
men's
completely
game.
different. Completely different. The fans,
tell us about
so
that.
the fans mix. You know, there is no full-on segregation. We don't have away fans in the north and home fans in the south. It doesn't work like that. And we learnt a lesson quite quickly that
You're talking about when Brighton women's play here.
Yeah. So the Brighton ladies were playing on the Sunday against Crystal Palace. Brighton's men had played Crystal Palace the day before. That's carnage. That is absolute carnage. The rivalries, the hatred, it's horrible down there. So we upped the security here for the ladies' game. It's not an issue at all. They're all taking the mickey out of each other, and you talk to them, and they're like, no, we're nothing like the men. You know, we're just here to watch that on the pitch. That's all we're here for, and a bit of fun. So, yeah, that was a learning curve. But the fans are just so different in the ladies' game. More friendly. Just more friendly.
Interesting.
Even towards each other.
Interesting. There's some things we can learn from that.
Yeah.
So looking back to the fan experience here, are there any tips or tricks that you could provide to our fans who are maybe frustrated with the long turnstile lines, how an individual can help do their part to speed things up?
There is, and it's so simple, but people don't want to seem to do it. Is turn up 15 minutes before you turn up normally and just give us half a chance. We know that like the 2 turnstiles in the South End can't cope with that amount of people trying to get through to the East End. We know that, but the home tickets will go through on turnstiles like 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So rather than just because your ticket says 11 to 12, or it used to, I think now it says it can pretty well go through. I haven't seen to look at.
Can you talk about where those gates are in the stadium rather than just numbers?
Okay, so turnstile wise, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, which house the aways. Then you've got 5, which carries for the north section of the West Stand. Turnstile 6 carries for the south section of the West Stand. 7, 8, 9 and 10 do the terracing for the South Stand. 11 and 12 was originally for like the East Stand. And then you've got 13 and 14, which is your far corner for the north section, northeast corner for aways.
Perfect.
So,
you passed the test.
Thanks.
I knew that was like the back of your hand. So what you're saying is to alleviate some pressure from the lines, folks can move into 7 and 9 rather than going to the long side.
Yeah. But, 10 minutes before can make a hell of a difference to them getting in. The guys on the turnstiles are doing their best, but sometimes they're fighting against the signal and the Wi-Fi, and everybody's jumping on it. So it can be very, very difficult for them. But I think just a 10 to 15 minute window prior could alleviate quite a few problems.
That's good. We would love to have folks that turn up earlier than they are, alleviate that.
Yeah.
Get everyone there before kickoff.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll score some early goals because of it.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be nice.
So when I go to either away matches or Premier League matches or other football matches, I look at stadiums and operations totally differently now.
Yeah.
What do you look at when you go somewhere else?
How the stewarding team works.
Yeah.
And the security team.
But what do you look for? How they're communicating, how many there are?
Professionalism. Because people leaning on barriers doesn't look very good. And like I tell all of the new starters, you will be on telly tonight because of the highlight show.
Yeah.
So you will be on telly tonight. And if you're leaning on the barrier or you're stood there with your arms folded or hands in pockets, it doesn't look very professional and it doesn't look very inviting. So going back to, if somebody needed to approach you, do you look welcoming? No.
Right.
So by just sort of not smiling, don't stand there with, full go home with face ache, but just by being approachable and looking professional. And I think some of the stewards that I've witnessed at other grounds, no, not for me.
Good. So you like how we rank against others?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do like how we rank against others.
Great. Well, I appreciate you coming.
You're very welcome.
You're a very welcome guest.
Thank you.
It's very interesting to learn about the operational side of things, about the safety side of things. I hope everybody at home had a good time listening as well, learned something. Maybe we'll be a little bit more respectful towards our stewards now that they know how much hard work goes in. And thanks for your time, Simon. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ben. Cheers.